And welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's that time again to head out on the road and check out what's going on in the auto industry. I'm Fred Staab, and as always, to check out all the latest automotive stories, along with me is Les Jackson. How you doing, Les?
Hey there, Fred. How are you? It's pretty exciting right now in the auto industry. There's an awful lot of shifting around, I think. And I don't mean manual shifting.
There's none of that anymore.
There's none of that.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Well, we're starting out this hour with a big deal when it comes to reduced tariffs on Japanese cars. How will this shift the auto market? Well, the big three, which is kind of an old term, but the big three are saying they're not too happy about it because they're still building a lot of cars in Mexico and Canada. And those tariffs haven't gone down.
Yeah. I wouldn't be happy either. And Acura kills off one sedan and refreshes another, but at least they're sedans.
Yeah, at least they're sedans. They were kind of overlapping sedans, and we'll talk about that. And what's new with the Toyota Corolla gas and hybrid models for 2026? They've got some things added to them, and we'll update you.
We will, and a new design for the next generation Corvette was released. This time it's inspired by Southern California, so it has a surfboard.
That's right. Has roof racks and a surfboard. Wouldn't that be a great look?
Oh,
and
that'd be
is
terrific.
start, stop, stopped? Well, changes may be underway at the EPA, and it looks like your next vehicle may not have start-stop capability.
It is not popular, shall we say, Fred.
Yeah, I know. I remember when I started driving and cars were struggling with the first generation of emission systems. As a new driver, I always worried that the thing would stall at a stoplight because many of them did. And so when the start-stop came in, I thought this is like a flashback.
And the BMWs that year, I had a whole run of test BMWs, and their start-stop was very primitive. They vibrated and shook when they restarted.
Yeah, I remember that. And some of them felt like they were rear-ended when the engine shut off. It's like, what just happened? But
anyway,
we're going to talk tech. GM wants your next vehicle to detect and report potholes.
Yes.
Yeah, calling that number, they're like, yeah, I'll get right on it. Yeah, when you call a phone number, sure, I'll get right on it. That never works. All that and a whole lot more when we get rolling on this edition of Cruise Control. So let's get started, Les. Big news this week. We've been talking a lot about tariffs and how that would affect sales. Well, there's been a bit of a deal when it comes to Japan, and that means their tariff is going to be reduced from 27.5% to 15% under the new deal. And the Japanese government will commit to up to $550 billion in loans and other guarantees to Japanese firms investing in the U.S. That's got to take a lot of pressure off manufacturers like Subaru and Toyota and Honda and others, even though all of them have a pretty big footprint as far as manufacturing in the U.S. As you know, it wasn't just where it was manufactured, it's where the engine is built and where some of the parts come from. So this is a big deal.
It is a big deal. The details haven't been released yet, but Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba,
I'm glad you said that,
said in a press briefing that the investments would be in the area of supply chains and other key sectors like pharmaceuticals, believe it or not, and semiconductors.
Okay.
That's great. I mean, that's fine. I personally believe this was all underway a long time ago, before the tariffs entered. But whatever, it's still good for the Japanese industry and for the U.S.
Yeah.
So this is great, and they're going to also increase. Japanese are going to increase the purchases of agricultural products to help reduce the trade surplus. You know, they normally don't buy our tractors.
I really wasn't aware of that, but hey,
But if you think about it, think of how many tractors are bought every year by the agricultural industry. It's enormous.
yeah, yeah. Well, what this is all basically from an article in Reuters, by the way. This means probably that we're not, I don't think they're going to pass that along. I think they will probably be able to eat
Yeah,
that 15%.
I think so.
And once again, if a vehicle is built in the U.S., we don't know how this is all going to work out. But you look at something like the Subaru. Many of the Crosstrek models are built in Indiana by Americans, and there's a lot of American parts. But I
Right.
believe the engines and transmissions are still built in Japan. So when you think about this is a big deal for someone like Subaru. They're a smaller manufacturer. They will probably be able to not raise prices due to the tariffs.
Right, right.
You know, and
Although, yeah, maybe the Outback, they'll have to raise the price because that's still built in Japan.
yeah, but it will only
Uh,
be 15%, not 27.5.
yeah, that's not so bad.
No. So we'll see how this develops. But the big three, and as I said earlier, the big three terminology is kind of an outdated one. But of
Hmm.
course, we're talking about GM, Ford, and Stellantis. They're not happy about this because they don't build things in Japan. There are Japanese parts, certainly, that go into their cars. But in the case of Stellantis, a lot of things are built in Italy, including some Jeeps. And then GM and Ford build a lot of their vehicles in Mexico and to a lesser extent Canada.
Hmm.
So still, those deals may be coming down the line at some point, but still, they are basically stuck with that, right?
Well, they are upset, and their lobbyists' phones are ringing off the hook here in D.C. And I assure you that's true. And they're spending a lot of time on Capitol Hill in the next few weeks. Well, actually, when Congress comes back, and they'll wheel and deal.
I think eventually there will be some pact, or tariff
Yep,
reduction with
yep,
Mexico. I think
yep.
that's more probably. I think a lot of people build vehicles in Mexico.
Hmm.
It's just kind of been a go-to place for cheaper labor for the auto industry. Volkswagen's done it for years down there, and of
Yep.
course, Ford and GM, and so I think you're going to see the pressure on to come up with something for Mexico, at least a reduction in it, and we'll see how that all goes. But it's been a long time getting resolution on this. I never thought you would be able to do it in 2 weeks or a month, but
Yep.
it is getting there. It is getting there for sure. Let's go over to Acura. Acura this week killed off a sedan, didn't they? And it's one that's been very popular with the automotive press for a long time. It's had a long run.
It has, sadly, it hasn't been terribly popular with the buyers.
Mm-hmm.
We like it because it's fun,
Mm-hmm.
and it's quick, and it's very sporty.
We're talking
But
about the
boy, oh boy,
TLX.
the TLX, and it's it's a hot car,
Yeah.
but the
355 horsepower less from a turbocharged V6.
that's hot. That's
And
hot. It's very, that's right up there with the WRX Subaru and the old Mitsubishi, the Evo, the 300
yeah.
horsepower.
And it was really designed as a Model 3 competitor, as everyone
Right.
once
Right.
upon a time when people bought sedans, you wanted to have something that would battle the BMW Model 3, and the
That is
TLX was it.
correct.
And here's the problem, though, and it's not necessarily the fact that sedans didn't sell, there was a problem with overlap. As manufacturers build vehicles, they always look like, well, there's a little overlap, but if I add a few more dollars, I can go up to the next model and get the features and things I want. Problem was the Integra, was very close to the TLX, and there was a very substantial overlap in pricing, and probably just not a big enough market for the two of them to coexist. And people will step up to the Integra and ignore the TLX.
And it's really sad if you look at the sales in 2021. They sold 26,000 and change. This year, they've sold 3,634. If you're an auto executive, especially if you're the product manager for these, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
And it's going to go away real soon.
Yeah. I mean, it's really also. I mean, you look at this building a V6 turbocharged engine in a smaller car. That is pretty rare these days, and
it is.
And I just think it came down to people would get the Integra instead, and it just the market shrank. The overlap was there, and sorry to see the TLX go, but sometimes Acura's lineup, it's kind of hard to figure it out, isn't it?
I think we have the hardest time with Acura in understanding their product lineups. I can't think of another manufacturer that's as gray in terms of where does this fit?
Yes. Well, while we're talking about Integra, let's go over and see what they've done to it. They have freshened it up for 2026, and it makes sense that they would freshen it up if the TLX is going away.
Sure.
It now includes a larger 9-inch touchscreen, whether you like it or not, because apparently, apparently a lot of people don't like the big touch screens or the screens getting bigger, but they really don't have anything to say about it. Of course, it was the North American Car of the Year award, had that back in 2022.
Yeah.
And I just think, I understand what happened to the TLX now. People wanted the bigger car. What's new? Major technology updates include a lot of new standard features. Most of the advanced tech has been integrated to enhance the cabin experience. As I said, a 9-inch color touchscreen is now standard, 2 inches larger than the outgoing one. Now, that's a big deal because 7-inch screens were...
It's a big jump.
Yeah, a long time ago. And just overall, a new appearance, new color, solar silver metallic, urban gray pearl, double apex blue.
Mm-hmm.
It is freshened up. Wireless Apple CarPlay 3 and Android Auto, and wireless phone charger, a new touchscreen. Seems like it did need a tech upgrade for sure.
It's and 18-inch wheels, Fred. They're going to get to 20.
They will get to 20.
I know you're waiting for that.
Yeah, they will get to 20. So freshening the interior.
Yeah.
This, I believe, is still available with a manual, isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but
it says an available segment exclusive 6-speed manual transmission for that 7 people who plan to buy one. You will be able to get it. Actually, I think this is a smart marketing move.
Okay.
Because right now, if you want to capture BMW sales, do this.
Mm-hmm.
Do this, and I think people will drive it and they'll go, "Hey, I like this."
Yeah,
and they'll buy it.
Now, comparing it once again to the TLX, the horsepower is significantly down. It's only a 1.5 liter turbo 4, 200 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque.
It's plenty.
But it's not the hot rod of the smaller TLX, is it, with 335? No. So, there you have it. One goes away, the other one gets freshened up. It sounds like if it was running a 7-inch screen, it was definitely time to get something a little bit bigger, as now people are going to 12-inch and 14-inch screens. So it seems like, that was time for that to get updated. You have a story, though, on Toyota, right? And Toyota's Corolla. What's going on with that for 2026?
That's right. With the 2026, they're going to offer a lot of features and technology. Mm-hmm. They're actually, they just announced this yesterday. They a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster standard.
Yeah, they're doing away with analog gauges.
Now, that's a foot.
Yeah, it replaces the analog gauges, so they're doing away with them.
Right, and there is a 7-inch that's standard on the LE and SE grades. The 2-liter, as they call it, dynamic force 4-cylinder, has 169 horsepower, 151 pound-feet of torque. Good, it should be zippy. It's not a road burner, but it's
no.
It should feel plenty quick.
Yep, they all come with the CVT, CVT transmission, and that some people love them, some people don't. I found it in the Toyota Corolla to be a decent experience. You do get a couple of different drive modes: Normo, Eco, and Sport, which is fine. And then they get an 8-inch touchscreen equipped Toyota audio multimedia system, while a 10.5 inch is available on SE and XSE. One thing I don't know if they've included is a dual zone AC, because that's one thing I think is missing. You can get it in some upgraded models, but I'm not quite seeing if it is available in other, in the higher grade models. But to me, that's something you need. Still a great value, though, this vehicle.
It is, and at least now the standard features include lane departure assist and proactive driving assist. That's everybody's getting into that now, or has gotten into it. It's incredibly useful.
Yeah,
it's hard to change lanes anymore without the car telling you shouldn't be doing this.
That's true.
Yeah.
They package that all up as the Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which, as you said, includes all kinds of things: full range dynamic radar, cruise control, lane departure, lane tracing assist, road sign assist. And this is all standard now, which is, I think that is the highlight of the 2026 model year for Toyota.
Well, it is, and still the prices start at $22,000, which is it's certainly a value. I'm not going to say it's cheap.
Well, today it is. I mean
well, today it's yes.
That's right up there as some of the least expensive, type of vehicles you can get for that $22,000, and decently equipped, and probably goes up to the high 20s for the top of the range. Let's talk. Stay on Corolla, and let's talk about the hybrid, because there's news there as well, right?
Absolutely. Now, again, everything Toyota offers a hybrid, and now the This particular hybrid is standard. Cross traffic alert is standard across all grades. That's in the rear. I have that. It saves you so many times from when you're backing out in a parking lot
Yep.
between two big SUVs.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful. So great mileage. Manufacturer estimated 50 miles per gallon combined rating. That's wow.
I still say I'd
Uh,
get this over the Prius. I like the styling better. I like it a little bit more mainstream, I think. And you get that mileage and you get plenty of room.
yeah.
Yeah, it's 138 net combined horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot. 1.8
No, it doesn't.
four-cylinder aluminum double overhead cam, 16 valve engine. It's the 5th generation hybrid system, and the LE gets a horizontal front grille with slits and vertical gradation for more refined look. And there are stylish differences on all of these. The SE gets 18-inch graphite wheels. The XLE gets 16-inch alloy wheels with silver finish. All hybrid models have the LED headlights. So it is.
Yep.
It's still a good buy, And do we have pricing on this? I don't think so.
I'm checking now. I don't think
It's
we
in
have
the
it
20s
yet.
again.
But it's again, if you're looking for a hybrid, you can't go wrong with a Toyota hybrid.
Yes, and it is just the ultimate commuter car when you think about it.
It is.
It is perfect for commuting and getting 50 miles to the gallon and still having a trunk. I wonder, though, I bet they haven't changed my pet peeve on this where they have the rear seat latch in the middle as opposed to on the end.
Yeah.
I don't see that. Those are the two pet peeves. They're small pet peeves. Dual zone. I think you could get it on some of the higher equipped models. And then the latch for the folding down the rear seat is in the center, kind of near the center as opposed to near the edge. Small things, though. 50 miles per gallon. Great vehicle, right? To drive to work
It's
or
great.
something like that,
Yeah, it's you just can't go wrong with one of these if you're looking for this.
How about this? How about this? Would you take this
Well,
one to work? It's a little bit different model.
Yeah.
Remember a few months ago we looked at a concept that was a little bit more radical than this. It was done in the UK, although this is quite radical looking at the bodywork in the back. And they theorized that was the C9 Corvette. It was designed in the UK. This one is designed in Southern California. It's inspired by Southern California, and it is just a concept. But it is the second in the series of 3 Corvette concept design studies that will debut this year. And it was developed by GM's Advanced Design Studios in Pasadena as part of a global design project. What do you think?
Well, I'd like. I'm not terribly sure what is Southern California about it.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure
know it was designed in Southern California. They wanted to have a flair for Southern California, but I don't see styling cues that would tell me if I didn't know about this. Say, oh, it's kind of Southern California looking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I mean, it looks like a $400,000 supercar.
Yeah, it is. It's funny that the console includes what looks like the old console that was just replaced for 2026 with the wall of buttons, but it also has a yoke for steering, which is not something that would make it to production.
Yeah,
I
it
think
looks
that's
great.
kind of gone out.
Yeah. Looks great until you drive it, but
yeah, and it also has it looks like 5-point harnesses in there.
yeah.
I could see a lot of these design elements going into the Corvette. Both of them, both of the designs, this one and the one that was done in the UK, they kind of look like Le Mans cars, you know. They would be
They
at Le Mans.
do. It does look like it's something that's designed to race. To race. Period.
Yeah.
Le Mans or anywhere else, and I'm sure it'll do real well on a track.
I will say it looks a lot smoother than the current C8 Corvette, which I think is a little too angular.
And you notice that the fenders are arched up dramatically like the Series 3 Corvettes
absolutely.
were.
Absolutely. And you look at that aero treatment with that tunnel through there, reminds me of the last generation of the Ford GT, where they had those kind of flying buttresses where the air went through. It looks cool. I think it does a better job of the C8, where the C8 looks so stubby in the front. This does a better job. It's still stubby in the front, but it does a better job of not looking like it's out of balance somehow. But we'll have to see. Look, it has active aero in the back with a wing that goes up. I'm ready for a Corvette that looks like this. How about you?
I am too. I must say I don't care much for the wheel design on this, but that's so what. But the fact is, I've never asked you, but do you find that people you talk to either love or hate the existing C8 design?
I think they fall into the camp of, I'll say the camp I fall into. It looks like a lot of disconnected parts. Like it's like there's a lot going on there. You know what I mean? Like it does not. It looks, I don't know, like add-on things.
Well,
I'm not crazy about it. I was not.
Now, oddly enough, I find it not pretty, but sort of provocative, and I kind of like it. But my wife Mary hates it. She says that's the ugliest thing I've seen in years.
It does have some weird angles. When it's coming right at you, it looks kind of weird. It looks like a smaller car was rear-ended by a wider car. That's what I'd say.
I mean, I've talked to a number of people, and most people just, I don't really like the looks of it.
Yeah. But it hasn't stopped people from buying it, has it? So
once you drive one, you don't care what it looks like.
Yeah. But this, I think you're absolutely right. This one harkens back to the Coke bottle shape, the big swooping fenders. And I think that's what, for me, makes it look a little longer in the front. I don't know. It looks, some of the elements like the front splitter and that look very buildable. Would they do that wild aero? I don't know. I like the integration of the rear scoops better. I think it would be cool. We'll see. But what do you think? Let us know. Let us know in the comments because, hey, it's great to do these designs. Will some of this be integrated into the C9? I think so. Don't you?
I think you're right. I think they want to soften up what they've got now.
Yeah. It's too angular. It's too angular. It harkens back to remember Cadillac with the arts and sciences, origami folded paper look, and they softened that, and it looks good. So I think we will see elements of this. I too don't get, other than that it was designed in Southern California. I don't get how it's Southern California inspired, other than somebody in Southern California worked on it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, let's go over. You have a new story about start-stop technology. Most people know what that is. It means that your engine stops at the light and then restarts as a way of saving gas. I remember they used to do this. When I was in high school, I went to Italy, and they would shut their engines off at the light, the taxi cab drivers, and restart them. They didn't
Whoa.
have start-stop.
Whoa.
But I was like, it really doesn't that put a lot of strain on everything? Your battery, the starter, the engine.
Yep. The air conditioner has to.
This was
Well, of course,
these are little Fiats.
in the modern cars, the air conditioner has a little bit of a surge tank that keeps pressurized coolant still working, but you can tell, on a hot day, start stop, when you're stopped and the AC is on, it's not comfortable.
Yeah. So it looks like start stop might be going away. There are a lot of right now. They took away the fines, so there's no fine for going over the CAFE rating. Automakers are going to say, hey, this system adds X amount. I mean, let's face it, automakers will strip out a little piece of trim or whatever to save money. This system probably is fairly expensive, I would say, to add to a vehicle as far as things go.
Well, yeah, I think, I know for a fact that I've never met anyone that likes start stop.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody hates it. I mean, everybody agrees. Yeah, across the board, it's saving a few million gallons of gas across the country, and that's great. But it does put a lot of engineering on the part on behalf of the automakers. They have to create this. They have to make it work. They have to take into account what it wears out.
Mm-hmm.
Some have starters, some have flywheels wound as a motor. But the fact is, most people just don't like it.
Well, part of the problem was you could defeat it, but every time you restarted your car, it would reactivate, and then you had to remember to push the button. You probably didn't remember to the first stoplight. Right. Same thing with sport mode. You had to do that, and the reason was they would get a better CAFE, a better fuel economy rating by making these buttons auto-activate. Right, you can deactivate them, or you can switch to sport mode, but you're going to have to do it manually. So my take on this is, and they said the EPA says wait and see. We'll let you know. This is from an article in CarBuzz. And apparently this is a big thing for EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, who he said that it's an annoying thing to everyone. It creates wear and tear. And let's face it, I don't know what it costs, but it's probably fairly expensive for automakers.
Yeah.
And they're not getting any credit for it. So you're going to see
because they're just getting credit for not having to pay the CAFE fine.
And there's no more fines, so...
And there are no more fines.
So they're not going to do it just for, hey, let me add this in. I think what they'll do is they'll still continue it. There won't be a button for it, but there'll be a menu, and you can go in and shut it off for good.
Yeah.
And
I don't think many people will use it.
I don't think many people will either.
Yeah. And of course, a lot of car models that get much better than the CAFE numbers, current CAFE numbers, they just don't equip the cars with start stop. They don't need it. They just don't bother.
The other thing that's going to go away, I believe, is cylinder deactivation. A lot of people say that beats up on an engine, creates problems for the lifters, and that's probably going to go away too. More than likely. And I know a lot of people, when they rebuild an engine, they immediately defeat that because they say that's going to beat up on the engine, especially lifters, apparently. That's what it creates problems with.
That's right. Yeah. If you don't need it and if you don't want it, then they're going to not offer it.
Well, when you think about this, if they can eliminate that, that could, if the tariff still exists on Mexican-built vehicles, then that could be a way to free up some money for that, and they don't have to charge the tariff then. So we'll see. Everything is interrelated. While we're talking about eliminating technology, let's talk a little bit about Hyundai. And this has always been one of my pet peeves about certain vehicles. Certain Hyundais and certain Minis that have dual clutch transmissions have always been a little herky-jerky to me, especially when making a left-hand turn. There will be a dead spot in the transmission. You hit the pedal, nothing happens, and then it goes crazy and chirps the tires. Hyundai is dropping the dual clutch transmission gearbox in 2026 on the XRT and limited editions of the Santa Cruz and the Santa Fe. And they are going back to a good old-fashioned, I believe it is an 8-speed transmission.
8-speed, right.
Yeah, with the 2.5-liter turbocharged Santa Fe. By the way, the Santa Cruz with that 2.5, I reviewed that not long ago, and it is quite the hot rod. So I think it's going to get even better with a regular transmission.
Yeah. Well, these dual clutch transmissions just they promise a lot, but they're just very difficult to tame.
Yeah.
From an engineering point of view, they work great in a straight line
for quick shifts.
But cars turn.
Yeah. I've always found that they're the dead spot, which I hate, because where I live, people will not slow down. If you're turning left, you have to turn quickly left because they're not going to slow down. They'll almost T-bone you. They don't believe in slowing down.
And if you're backing up and turning, you get a notchy, grabby, feels like something's wrong.
That is a great way to explain it. It's notchy, grabby. It's like, oh, this feels like this transmission's got an issue.
Something's breaking.
And, there again, that's one thing, like when you talk about J.D. Power and that, we're going to be talking about their appeal study and others. When people perceive that, they may not know what a dual clutch transmission is or how it works or why it feels that way.
Yeah.
But it feels like, oh, there's something wrong with this transmission, and they'll go to a dealer and the dealer will say, nope, that's the way it is. And they'll say, really? And in that case, they might be right. That is the way it is. And it would certainly be a disappointing thing to buy that. So, yes, the 8-speed goes in, regular 8-speed transmission, and that's going to be happening in the 2026 model year. Frankly, I think that's a good thing to wait for. I would recommend waiting until 2026 when these come out, because I think you'll be much happier with it. But what say you?
I agree with you. Get rid of it.
Here's an interesting story. You can buy a Honda V10, the last V10. It's a Formula One engine.
Yeah, the F1 V10. Heck of an engine.
It's going up for auction. It's Senna's last Honda V10. It's going up in Monterey Car Week. It comes in this wonderful cabinet, and it is completely disassembled. Wouldn't this look great in your living room, huh?
Now, do you know why you have to buy it disassembled?
Probably there's some kind of they don't want you putting it in your Civic, maybe? I don't know.
No, most people are not aware that Formula One engines are built with such incredibly tight tolerances,
right?
That if you don't keep them, I'm not kidding about this, if you don't keep them essentially on life support, which is always pumping warm oil and coolant through them, they will seize up. and
Wow.
you can't unseize them. You have to disassemble it, and that this is true of Formula One engines. So, how many people would buy an assembled engine with the complete life support system
Yeah.
that they have to run 24 hours a day, or the engine is seized up?
Well, it is an interesting auction item. Somebody will
I,
certainly buy this. I
I
don't
want it.
know.
I want it.
You,
I honestly do. I'm not kidding. I want it.
oh
I
man,
can't afford it.
it's a thing of beauty, though. Frankly, being blown apart like that is more enjoyable. You're not going to run it, and
That's true. You're not. It is beautiful. I mean, when you look at the sheer engineering and machine work that goes into an engine, especially a Formula One engine, you really appreciate the genius of it.
yeah, it is. It is quite amazing that you got the crank exposed.
I
You
mean,
got.
look at that crank. you can, that crank is $30,000.
Yes, it is. It
You
is.
know, it's
It is pretty amazing. It is an amazing machine. You can even see a little bit of the carbon on the pistons, and so you know it
yes,
is not a new. There's a little bit of material on the intake manifold and the injectors.
this really has to go to a museum.
I bet it goes to a rich Formula One person's home, and it will be on display in the man cave. What do you think?
Hmm.
So,
Well, I hope it goes to a car museum. I think it will, because how many individual collectors can afford it, and how many people would they show it to?
it doesn't matter. You don't have to show it to anyone. You just know you have it. I see it more going
I
to
know, but
Dubai or someplace like that where someone has a lot of money to buy
yeah,
something like that. Want to guess the price? We don't know what it will go for, but what do you think?
Um, I would say 10 million.
Wow. Okay. All right. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say 2 million, but we'll see. We'll see.
It costs more than 2 million to make it. So no,
oh
but I don't think it's worth, or will be worth, more than 10 million, because it's not in a car,
yeah. I don't know.
not in a Formula One car, and the engine itself has a finite value.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what has value. Value is avoiding potholes, because potholes are terrible. Typically, the worst time is right after winter when the plow has ripped up the
Yep.
roads
hmm
and they haven't got to fixing it. And certainly, you go to an area like Michigan, cars get ripped up because the roads are falling apart. And typically, maybe you'd call somebody up and say, hey, at this street, there's a big pothole. And they go, yeah, thanks a lot. And that would be the last you would hear of
Yeah.
them. Or trucks have to go out and they would put a shovel of that stuff down and like hit it with a shovel, and it wouldn't, the fix, wasn't that great. Well, GM has a patent now where your car would basically evaluate the road, and it would look at road conditions, sensing with sensors in its suspension and also its cameras, onboard cameras, and
hmm
it would send this somewhere, this data, to people that can do something about it. And they would say, like, oh, wow, we're getting a lot of reports from these GM cars that this road is torn up. What do you think? This is a U.S. patent uncovered by GM Authority. And it was, they said the source data would come from Chevy Trailblazers, everything from Chevy Trailblazers to Cadillac Lyrics to monitor road conditions. And some people are a little worried about it because it could be, GM has not had a great run with the idea of preserving privacy, so you're obviously, where the vehicle's driving because you have to say, hey, it's torn up at this intersection. But it's an interesting concept, isn't it?
Well, you're talking to a guy who avoids not only every pothole, but every sunken manhole cover.
I hate sunken manhole covers. That's can't you do it right?
Yeah, I do it. I've always done it because it is very hard on the suspension.
Yeah.
It's a shock, and I don't mean shock absorber in the car, but it's a very, very strong shock, and the time duration is too short for the suspension to react right. So it gets damaged. And so in my lane, if you're following me, you'll think I'm a Formula One driver
because back and forth.
I'm constantly, but I'm not hitting these things. I'm trying to preserve my 18-inch wheels.
It's true. I've bent wheels, steel wheels. I've bent.
Absolutely,
like,
yes.
What the heck,
So I know I give great admiration for this. I hope they price it or develop it so people can buy it. Other car companies can license it. And I hope that the people responsible for the streets are forced to eat TV dinners for the rest of their lives.
That will show. No, it's nothing worse than your vehicle going right up on the bump stops, slamming. It happens at night. Yeah. Sometimes you see it an instant before, so you can't avoid it. I've had that happen on the highway. It's like I see it and there's no time or there's cars on either side. There's no time to avoid it.
It makes you angry, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you almost feel like the car drives differently afterwards. You almost feel like something's bent or something. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea. I think it would probably result in shocking data where they're like, oh my God, all these roads are falling apart. But I don't know. I think it's a good idea for sure. Hey, let's look at what's coming up on Cruise Control. We got plenty more still to come. 30th edition of the J.D. Power Appeal Study. We're going to talk about which brands scored the best. It's good info if you're looking at buying a car, right?
That's right. That's right. And we love the J.D. Power studies because first, they're accurate. And secondly, they're interesting.
Yep.
And Mercedes says its EQ electric lineup will no longer be sold in the U.S. market.
Yeah,
this is interesting.
Yeah, they're going to build them here, believe it or not, but they do not sell here. They do not sell. So they're going to build them yet, and ship them out. So I'm sure that will help them in some way to keep exporting them, but they're just not selling in the U.S. And then you have a story about Honda, right?
Honda is revealing a little bit more about the upcoming Prelude, and they're getting into the insurance business. Now, companies have tried this before, so we'll talk about it.
Yeah, one in particular, Tesla, tried it, and it was a bit of a disaster. Something tells me Honda might do a better job of that. And then what's new on the 2026 Toyota Tundra? We'll kick that around. And you have something about EV vehicles.
EV vehicles are making people car sick. This is not unknown. In fact, this is something that the medical community has known about and actually predicted I would have predicted it myself because the effect is very, very similar to being launched off an aircraft carrier or going down a steep hill and then suddenly heading uphill at the bottom, and your brain can't react that quickly, so you get car sick.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad I don't get car sick. I know I have friends whose kids do.
I do. I mean, I have to drive. If I don't drive, I'll get car sick.
I have friends like that too. One you know very well. He has to drive, otherwise he'll get car sick.
Yeah.
But
I did my best over the years in various test events to get you car sick.
But I didn't.
But you didn't. And even when I flew one car, you just hung on there screaming.
Yeah, I don't.
You didn't get sick.
I don't. It doesn't bother me. But
that's great.
I just like to drive just to drive. So let's jump into this. J.D. Power. Let's take a look at the appeal study. First, we'll tell you what appeal means. You would think it just means it's appealing, but it means automotive performance, execution, and layout. So that's what they're measuring in this study.
Okay.
And overall satisfaction, typical satisfaction, is 851 on a 1,000-point scale. Overall, that is a higher number, 4 index points higher than a year ago, which means I guess people are happy with automotive performance, execution, and layout, right?
That's right. And there's no surprise here that the study has found that owners of new vehicles have lower levels of satisfaction with the vehicle setup and startup.
Mm-hmm.
And the infotainment systems, we always have to bring them up because people are not satisfied.
Uh-huh. Well, let's take a look at some of the key findings. Premium brands outpace mass market brands in emotional satisfaction gains. Okay, so
sure.
You want a C8 Corvette, you want an Aston Martin, you're going to love it more when you get it because you wanted to do it. Now, these, believe it or not, these are led by Tesla. Emotional satisfaction among owners of mass market brands improves 2 points overall, and it rises 11 points among owners of premium vehicles largely driven by Tesla. Isn't that weird?
Well,
I guess until the parts fall off, right?
I guess they're gluing the parts on better than they used to.
Number two, you have complicated technology. That right? That's something that's a dissatisfier, isn't it?
Well, yes, the owner satisfaction goes down when the technology gets more complicated. The owners of the carryover vehicles actually are more emotionally involved with their vehicle than the owners of new model launches.
Okay.
Which is not surprising because that's all I hear from people is that this car is just more complicated than I want.
Yeah, and last week on Cruise Control, we did a study we looked at a study that people were being given things that they didn't want from the automakers, like a bigger screen and more complex systems. So, they want less expensive. Maybe that's a cue we don't need the 42-inch TV on the dashboard, right?
Well, that's right. And a lot of people I talk to don't use their smart cruise control. They don't trust it.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's actually a very, very, very good system. But anyway.
I've got one. Satisfaction is more consistent among ICE and hybrid owners. By the way, we're going to talk a little bit in the future, but hybrid sales are through the roof, and Toyota is leading, and Camry is leading massively. Once again, when I heard Mary Barra of GM say, well, we'll have hybrids around 2027, 2028, missing the boat. Should be instantaneous.
Missing the boat. I think the basic dissatisfaction with EVs, them, battery EVs, is charging. I just think that people find it not convenient.
They find it not convenient, cost, too high a cost.
Yep.
So individual user profiles boost vehicle appeal. So just over 55% of vehicle owners are creating individual user profiles in their vehicles, features that allow personalization of settings such as seat position and climate control. I'll be honest, if I had that, I wouldn't use it either. It's just, why set it up? I typically shut off all the warnings and that. I don't need the horn to blow when I lock the doors. I kind of shut it all off.
I hate that. I hate that.
I don't need all that. Or, what annoys me on a lot of cars? The lights stay on. I don't need the lights to stay on. I want them to go off so I know I turned them off,
Well,
just immediately shut all of that stuff off.
But it is a safety issue. How long are you willing to let the lights stay on when you get out of the car? Would you be satisfied with 5 seconds?
Well, by the time you got out of the car, they'd be off. I just want to make sure they're off,
Oh, yeah. I find mine are on for 10 seconds.
Okay.
And usually that's the time that I can get to the front door or get to the elevator. That's fine. I always glance back and make sure they went off.
Yeah. And we do that because we're old school guys, because let's face it, there's battery rundown protection. It will not let the battery run down. But
although if you test these vehicles, you'll find if you get more than about 20 feet from the car, 30 feet, and something hasn't turned off, the car will beep the horn and let you know there's something wrong.
Yes.
You can test that. And I mean, they're unfortunately, the car is smarter than we are.
That's true. That's true.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah. That is true. Okay, so let's look at some of the highest ranking premium brands on this JD Power appeal straight. By the way, this is the 30th anniversary of this. Porsche ranks the highest among premium brands for the second consecutive year with a score of 890 out of 1,000. Land Rover, 886, the vehicle that everyone is using as their template.
Yes. Let's repeat or remind people that this is not a reliability survey. This is an appeal survey, performance and the overall feel of the vehicle.
Yep. BMW ranks third at 881.
Okay.
So that's premium. Mini ranks highest among mass market brands for a second consecutive year with a score of 876.
I can see that.
Not a vehicle that has had a lot of issues, but people love them because...
Yeah.
And that's one where you said earlier where they're buying a similar vehicle, the next generation of it, they would love that. It's sold on cuteness.
Absolutely.
It's sold on cuteness. Dodge, 868, and GMC, 852. Okay, Dodge, we know that is like joining the Brotherhood of Speed.
Exactly. GMC, I don't quite get, to be honest.
I always scratch my head about GMC, but apparently, because I always thought, I thought back to my dad had GMC trucks, and I said I could see the holes where they put the Chevy bow tie, but it's not there.
Yeah.
But apparently, people do perceive them as higher quality than a Chevy truck. even though it is
Okay.
virtually the same except for styling. And they have kind of widened apart in the last few years as far as, difference in design. Because it used to be it was just what badge does this get, GMC
Yeah.
or Chevy. So let's look at some of the appeal awards. BMW did well with X6,
Yeah.
which was
corporation.
Yep. BMW X1, BMW 4 Series, X4, and Mini Countryman. And then look at Hyundai. They've done well
Hyundai's
too.
number 2.
Yep. And Kia has Kia K5 made it in there too, didn't it?
Yeah. That's all part of the Hyundai Motor Group.
Yes.
In Korea, but they're separate here.
Yeah.
Ford, again, the Super Duty truck, the Mustang, and the Lincoln Nautilus. That's kind of all the eggs in one basket, but they sell an awful lot.
And then you look at Volkswagen. I mean, Volkswagen ID Buzz, once again, the emotional thing, but not a big seller for that brand. It's not about sales.
Yeah, and it's big price tag though.
Yeah, big price tag, and I do think people thought it would not be expensive, and I thought at the time if it's electric and it's big, it will be expensive. Yeah. But it has not done well for them. Porsche Taycan and Porsche 911 obviously appeal. Obviously, these
911, they'll never ever lose their market.
Yeah. And then just going quickly, Chevy Tahoe. To me, the Chevy Tahoe is the latest Impala. It is the kind of the bread and butter car. GMC Hummer EV. By the way, I saw 2 of them this week.
I
have not seen them before.
I've not seen them anytime recently.
Yeah, saw 2 on the road, and I was like, wow. And it wasn't the same one. They were different colors. Nissan Rogue, Nissan Murano.
Yeah, great vehicles.
Jaguar, Land Rover, Range Rover. A Jaguar, of course, out of the car business, basically. But selling Range Rovers. Lexus EX, a lot of great models from Lexus to choose from.
Yeah, I see Lexus everywhere here, mainly because there's a Lexus dealer less than a mile down the road here.
Well, yeah, I always thought Lexus was a good play because you get the Toyota reliability with really high-end luxury. So 2 great things. Weirdly, too, Dodge Durango. That's a model that's been around forever.
Yeah.
But people like it.
Well, it's the modern equivalent of the Ford Crown Victoria.
I guess so.
They became bulletproof.
Yes.
And you just buy it and drive it and don't worry about it.
Hey, let's move on to the story from Mercedes. And this is an interesting one. It's a good twist. It's basically the end of the EQ brand in America, at least for now. They will stop shipping in the current generation of electric vehicles to U.S. dealers beginning in September. This is according to an article in The Drive.
It's 5 weeks away.
So Mercedes will continue to produce the EQ variants for export to overseas markets here in the United States, but has no current plans to revive sales in the immediate future. The dealers were informed we are putting on hold U.S. order banks of all variants of the EQS sedan, EQS SUV, EQE sedan, and EQE SUV. Vehicles scheduled for production prior to September 1st will come in to be delivered. They are going to keep building them here, but they just don't sell. They build them in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and they just don't sell. They are going to sell the new all-electric CLA here, that has not been affected. But
That's right. That's different architecture. So the dealers should be happy
yeah,
because they weren't selling the other one anyway. And actually, there's a Mercedes dealer right next to the Home Depot here. So I'm going to
okay,
know, I'm going to look at the lot the next time I drive over and just see how many, if any, EQ variants are on the lot.
yeah. Well, somebody called them some of the most forgettable exterior designs ever.
It's,
Imagine if you designed that.
you know, when you get that designation, you probably should just kiss it goodbye.
It's good. Hey, you know what? It makes sense. Back in the day, remember, the auto industry used to build cars that no one wanted, and because they felt they had to have something in that market.
That's right.
And
That's right.
So it's a big step. It's great that they didn't pull production out. Obviously, they won't pull production out now because that would be a political problem to say, oh, we're pulling out of South Carolina. But yeah, I thought they weren't appealing. I don't think you need a separate electric brand within Mercedes.
No. I mean, Mercedes is, upscale brand. Remember when they tried to do this with the, what was that? What was that model? The super Rolls Royce luxury type.
Oh, Maybach.
Maybach, right?
Yeah, and they didn't sell because people bought the S class for less, and it was just as good.
Exactly, for $100,000 less.
Yeah, hey, we'll give it if you like this one. It's just about like
it's a discounted Maybach.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's what happened here. Poor design, probably high costs, and it was interesting. I was looking at a post on LinkedIn, and remember the Celestiq, the supposedly bespoke Cadillac. Somebody posted look at this.
I'll pretend you didn't say that.
But they said, look at the future of Cadillac. This is, don't you think it's great? And sadly, like 25 people said, I don't think it's anything special. I don't like the design.
People promptly ignored it.
It's just
which is
to
a
be
very
built.
bad sign.
I kind of had the feeling that vehicle would be, the discounted vehicle, was 335,000, now 65,000. Literally, no one liked it. They said, I don't think there's anything good about it. It's not a great design. Once again, that design looks like a bunch of disconnected things. It looks like you took a bunch of cars and welded them together, and they sort of worked and the doors open, but it wasn't, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. And it just looks discombobulated, and nobody really saw it as premium or,
no.
I would even take a guess. Some like the Sonata and certain other vehicles look better than it, that are much less. You could buy like 20 of them, in different colors. There's no, when you walk up to it, you don't go, wow, look at that, but I don't know. It's kind of sad, but maybe it's one of those things where no one wanted to say, like, I don't think it's that great.
I think every company does it at some time or another.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like Pontiac being told you're very brave for bringing out the Aztec. You don't get points for being brave. You get points for, like, selling metal,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a great idea. How about, Betamax?
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about Honda. And Prelude, of course, is coming up. The prelude to the Prelude. And we got a little more information this week. Prelude is going to use the Civic Type R's advanced suspension and chassis architecture. The 2026 Prelude will be the brand's new Grand Touring Sports Coupe. It will arrive in dealers later this year. It will feature the suspension, wide front and rear tracks, and Brembo front brakes from the legendary Civic Type R. And just a little bit more information about the Prelude. It will be the first ever electrified Prelude, powered by a ultra-smooth Honda 2-motor hybrid electric system found in the Civic Hybrid. And it will be paired for the first time with the new Honda S Plus Shift system and a new drive mode that further enhances the linear shift control. This is their writing to enhance Prelude's sporty yet comfortable GT experience.
Right. Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, it will be a nice vehicle. It will handle well and have plenty of power. How's that?
That's right. And you'll enjoy driving it.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
I think people are pretty psyched about that. I
think so.
Fact that it's a hybrid, we should talk about that right now. Hybrids have basically taken over the U.S. market. This is an energy information, according to the Energy Information Administration. I'm not quite. Is that a government entity or is that just a private entity? I don't really know.
I think it's a one of these
think tanks.
Agencies or associations that are think tanks.
Okay. So according to them, 22% of all vehicles sales in the U.S. were battery powered in the first quarter of 2025, but that's including everything from EVs to hybrids and plug-ins. A year ago, the number was 18%. But hybrids have proven to be the most popular, comprising 12% of all vehicle sales, while EVs like the Tesla Model X account for around 8%, and plug-ins like the RAV4 Prime make up about 2%. So people are buying hybrids, not so much plug-in hybrids. But the big takeaway from this study is that the Camry is a huge hit, hybrid only now, and people love it. Functional, practical, large, great fuel economy, safe, and the thing gets, incredible mileage. The front-wheel drive version gets almost 50 miles to the gallon. When you think about that, we were just talking about the Toyota Corolla hybrid. That doesn't get much more, and it's a much smaller car, right?
Yeah, I mean, this Toyota, again, knows what it's doing. They continue to read the market right. They lead the market in many, many cases. So, again, hybrids, as you predicted a couple of years ago, have taken over the market. They're the best possible solution for the current conditions that we're living in.
Yeah, and
in terms of transportation.
This study also says what I've been saying for a long time now. The other reason to buy a hybrid is it's quicker off the line. I mean,
that's right.
If you have a mini speed automatic, this will fire through, and you're on the electric by the time you hit that, do the 1-2 gear change in the automatic. And so it takes any lag or shiftiness out of it, and that boost comes off. And, it is great. It really is. The way they perform. I would like, for example, some of the Hyundai models, I recommend to people get the hybrid, not only for better fuel economy, but it just drives so much better. It really drives so much better. And that's the thing. I mean, you get a fast car with the benefit of better fuel economy.
It's much better than a turbo.
It is. It's instant power.
Yeah.
It's instant power. It really is, and I think it's a great idea if you can get one. I think that will continue. That people want them, and even for fuel economy, I think they're going to want them just for the performance. So um, uh, I'm excited about that. That's a good trend. And the Camry, it's a great vehicle. It's a very luxurious vehicle, and it is powerful, and it's a good deal. All hybrid. So good to see that those numbers are up, right?
Well, that's right. That's right. This is where we are. And I think we're going to be in this kind of market for the next 5, 6 years at least.
Yeah. Let's talk about something different than the Camry, but it is made by the same company. Toyota Tundra. What's new for Toyota Tundra? What do you got there, Les, on the new
Well,
updates for their big pickup?
the bold new chapter, as they say, in full size pickup. They've got the ISO dynamic seats, which they're available on the TRD Pro model.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new wave marker color.
That blue
on the again TRD Pro. All of this textured leather trim. There's a 3-inch lift kit.
That's pretty
and
aggressive.
Tow Tech package. That's a lot of lift.
Yeah, from the factory, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, don't do that yourself. Let the factory do it. It is foolproof.
Yep.
And cheaper than you can do it yourself.
Yes.
There's a 32.2 gallon tank.
And it uses every gallon.
That'll cost you $100 to fill right now.
Yep. That's right.
And the iForce Max powertrain, 437 horsepower, 583 pound-feet of torque, and at a 12,000-pound towing capacity. This is some kind of truck.
Yeah, you think about this. Back in the day, lifted trucks were not the best thing to be towing with. And, that it was kind of silly if you did. But now this has got a factory lift. It is a factory off-roader. And It's got incredible towing capacity. That's pretty much all you would ever need. That's like Super Duty towing capacity, really, right there, isn't it? So
that's right. Now, this does not come cheap.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the price. I'm almost afraid to.
I don't know if we have pricing.
Actually, I don't have it, but
it won't be cheap.
It will not be. It won't be. I'm not saying it won't be a bargain, but it won't be cheap.
By the way, it is assembled in Texas, in San Antonio, and the mantra for design was technical muscle. So there you have it. What do you think of that blue color? Do you like it?
To me, it's not a truck color.
Okay.
It's more of a car or SUV.
Well, if you like that, they do sell it in the Sequoia SUV, and that gets a lot of the same treatments as the Tundra. But these are going to be big sellers for them. They really are, and big profit too. Capstone trim, top of the line, the quilted upholstery. Just a big seller and big number on the sticker, right?
Well, this thing is comfortable to ride in.
Yeah, it's one of those off-roaders even with big wheels.
Yeah, even with the lift kit, because these lift kits, like the Lightning and others, they have such tremendous suspension travel that they just soak up the bumps.
Yes, they sure do. They sure do. Hey, let's talk about a new law in Connecticut. This is the anti-camping law, but it's not what you think. This is
No.
Connecticut is the next state to say you can't stay in the left lane, that the left lane is for passing. And it's New York and Massachusetts have done this, and Colorado, Louisiana, Illinois, and some other states. But they don't want people just camping out and going, 40 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, they still say you should pass on the left, and nobody does it. The people pass on the right all the time now. Have you noticed that?
Well, yes, I have noticed
on the highway,
that.
They pass on the right.
Yeah.
Or they just weave incredibly crazily from one lane to the other.
Well, that because it used to assume that the left lane was open for passing.
Mm-hmm.
But frequently it's not. You have whole lines of cars that are, speeding at 75 in the left lane.
Yeah.
And, if you're in the right-ish lane
Mm-hmm.
and you need to get around a car or a truck that's going pretty slow, where else can you go but to the far right lane to get around them?
Yeah. Well, I think people just do it. I think maybe there should be a refresher for rules on this, because people are just they don't know. They don't know, and they don't know that. No, you don't slow down to 30 miles an hour on a highway, because I don't know why.
Yes.
Have you ever noticed
they
people
used to have
keep at a steady speed? Like, I know you're going to slow down. You go up a hill or whatever. They just don't. And then they'll speed up. Like, they'll slow down.
Yeah.
And then they'll speed way up. And it's like, I don't know. I just think certain people are just not good at driving. It's like a thing they can't do.
You've hit upon the crux of the matter,
Mm-hmm.
which is Americans are very bad drivers. They know how to operate the cars.
Yeah. Well,
not everyone, but 90% probably.
I think they're not aware that it is something you have to be involved in. You can't just
Yes.
You have to be thinking about it. You have to be watching.
That's right.
You have to be reacting. You have to. It's not like you just sit there and it happens.
Exactly. A situational awareness, and you are not taught. If you took any kind of driver training, you're not taught by those people or your parents that traffic is supposed to be a cooperative exercise.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a contest between you and everyone else.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is true for sure. Let's go on to our next story before we get to the one I know you want to do about the physiological reasons for getting sick in an electric car. Here's one you might get sick in, though. This blew my mind. Over to NHRA, the fastest run ever. Now, for about a decade, they have shortened the drag strip to 1,000 feet. It used to be 1,320, but they shortened that to use the 320 distance to stop, right? Because cars are going so fast that they could not stop in the shutoff area without like ripping the eyeballs out of their head to stop them some way very quickly. Well, this past weekend, Brittany Force became the fastest person in NHRA history in a top fuel dragster, 341.85 miles an hour in 1,000 foot. And that took 3.65 seconds to do.
Wow. That's very fast. Now that will make you car sick.
That would make you car sick, or you would be so forced back in. Not to use her name, but you would be so pushed back in her.
Interesting,
in that car,
yeah.
You couldn't move.
Brittany, of course, is John Force's daughter.
Yeah. So
And Doug Kalita uh, lined up against her. And now
Connie
Doug
Colito's
Kalita would
cousin.
be Connie Kalita's
Cousin,
son,
I
I
believe.
guess.
No. Cousin, I believe.
Grandson, maybe.
No,
Yeah.
cousin, I believe.
Cousin, okay. But these
Yeah.
names have been in drag racing since we
Forever.
were, little kids.
Yes. It's a family thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how about that? And I mean, the big
That's
thing was
remarkable.
I always remarked at this, and when I would do stories on drag racing, you go 0 to 100 in less than a second.
That's, yes. That's called acceleration.
It's not 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. It's 0 to 100
No.
in less
It's
than
0
a
to
second.
100.
In less than a second. So, like, snap your fingers, and before you actually hear it, you're at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, and I mean, and I've never done that. I don't know how close you came to that, but
No.
being launched off aircraft carriers, it was 0 to 120 in 2 seconds.
Yes.
And you really feel it.
Well, and just as a point, as I was saying, to slow down, you have 2 parachutes. Brakes don't come into play until under 100 miles an hour. They're just on the rear tires. But you can't open both parachutes at the same time, because if you do, you'll literally detach your retinas. It slams you.
Yeah, that's a big fear with these deceleration, acceleration occupations.
You got to lift out of the throttle, get out of the throttle, hit the first chute, feel it hit, and then hit the second chute. And then you're still, I mean, they basically strap their head in because it will rip your head off when you decelerate. And then brakes are just to bring it to a full stop, once you get under 100. So if you hit them too early, they start bouncing. The cars bounce because there's no front brakes. So anyway, that is 341.68 miles an hour. That is kind of like, just for a record, you don't win races that way because the speed trap is at beyond the finish line. So you win it more on ET. But speed is something people kind of understand. Not that many people have gone that fast.
Yep.
Funny, though, that is when I started going to races, going over in the kind of mid 200s was a big deal. And that was in a quarter mile. So this is a shorter distance and 100 miles faster.
So it takes a bit of getting used to, huh?
Yes, I would imagine that would. But let's talk about one more thing before the car sickness story. Remember, this is kind of a follow-up. Remember, Hertz was using that AI scanner. You kind of drive through it when you pick up the car, and it supposedly scans the car and looks for damage and notes like, there's a scratch there or a scrape on the wheel or whatever. And then you bring it back and you drive it through that, and then it will.
Right.
Several people got billed for like a half-inch long scratch on a wheel or a little mark here or there, or it was dirt on the car, and there's like, it needs to be repainted. And people were getting $400, $500 bills. This is continuing, and apparently now there's a new problem. Other companies are doing this. Sixt. I've never used them, but I've seen that name around. But apparently they're looking into it, and one guy got charged $450. Get this. This happened to 2 different people with the same company. So he goes through the scanner, drives the car, comes back. They say, it's wheel damage, and then he looks at the date timestamp on the car. He's thought, why is the car dry? Because it was heavily raining when I brought it back. The damage was pre-existing, and the AI program used the shot of when he left, where the damage was already on the wheel, because they don't fix this stuff, and it tried to charge him for that. And it was a big rigmarole, because all of these places, you can't like call someone up and say, hey, look, look at this date stamp, but he stayed on it. Happened to another guy like this, and Enterprise took it upon themselves to say, we're never going to use scanners like this, which means that will drive business to them. We don't do that. You know, my feeling is, you and I always treated rental cars fine, and they get damaged and they're scraped. That's the way it is. I mean, they don't fix them. I mean, they're not going to take a wheel off if it's a little scrape on it.
They won't fix it.
And it shouldn't matter unless you're bringing it back with no doors on the side or something, you know?
Yeah. So really, this is a bad idea to use these scanners. It's too easy to blame someone who did not do the damage for the damage. And even if you took pictures of the car all the way around before you leave, so what? Who do you talk to? Who do you give the pictures to?
There's no one. You can't get a human to say. They just send you a bill.
Yeah.
After the fact. So now you got on the plane, and you don't know where the car is now or what happened to it. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Like I say, as long as it's not like been in a heavy accident where the airbag's deployed, stuff will happen. Chips happen. Windshields get chips in them. That's it. If you're not using it in a rough way and it just happens, I mean, it happens, you get a new car, and that's it. It's the way it is. And the thing that annoys me most about this is someone puts a little scrape on a wheel or whatever. They don't go out and buy a new wheel or even get it fixed. They don't do anything. So it's just pure profit.
This is just a way of making money.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Well, let's get to your story here. You have a story about why you get car sick in an EV, right? And it's not everything you would think about. There's some reasons. This is according to the Drive, right?
Well, that's right. Regular vehicle, you've ridden in regular vehicles your whole life, and you're used to the way these things feel, and the way you hear them. You get accustomed to vibration and the general acceleration.
We like it
of the engine.
That's part of it.
Yeah. And your brain, your especially the inner ear, that's your balance center, that is accustomed to a certain feel, just like an elevator, just like a subway car, a bus. And EVs, first, they don't make any noise, and secondly, people driving them tend to accelerate a little harder because the electric motor just pulls you. And it also has regenerative braking, so you're getting this deceleration that you're not used to unless you know somebody who's what's known as an early braker or a heavy braker.
Yep.
I hate people like that. I mean, I hate driving with people like that. So what's happening is your brain is interpreting this the same or similar way to if you were being spun in a carnival ride, or someone spins you around in your office chair, and you start getting very quickly motion sickness, followed by very unpleasant side effects.
Unpleasant for everyone.
And I'm familiar with all of these, and it's happening to millions of people.
Well,
so this is the British Guardian backs this up from 2020. They link just the silence of EVs to increased car sickness.
Well,
which
That,
is
it's understandable. Some people
the
can't
thing
drive
about
an EV car without a
that's
feedback
right.
of some kind.
Now, if you drive it, you almost always will have no problem because you anticipate what's going on.
Right.
And it's the low frequency movement that makes you car sick or seasick. Uh, Generally, you don't get real seasick, when it's kind of doing a little bit of
Bobbing
super
around.
rough
Yeah.
through the waves. But when you're just bobbing along, that will really trigger your inner ear. I know this from experience.
You do know this from experience.
Yeah. So,
They also
this is a
say
problem.
one pedal driving can do this where the deceleration, because the deceleration can be more abrupt, however it's set up.
Yes.
So, which I actually do like one pedal driving on EVs. I find it a cool way to drive, actually, with the deceleration set. It's because it's like I'm driving a big golf cart.
Well, yeah.
But
you got to get used to these things.
Also, the acceleration is like we were talking about drag cars. It's drag car like, where it's just instant, and it's.
That's right. Deceleration is actually worse in most cases than acceleration. Because your body, you're not used to that.
Yeah.
You're not used to decelerating very quickly.
Yeah. I said this before. I even watch cars. There's a hill that comes down, and some people come down the hill fast because they want the light's changing yellow. It's a hill at the bottom.
Yeah.
And when they feel a little G on their car, like it's shifting them one way or another, or they're lifting out of their seat a little, they hit the brakes. Like you can almost say that person's going to hit the brakes. And because I guess they feel like they're going out of control or something. Not that they are, but they're not going hundreds of miles an hour, but they're just not used to it. So it's your body's not used to it.
That's right.
There's no audio. The cue of hearing the engine rev up means like, okay, we're going to start moving now. You don't have that cue. Also, just the accelerate. It's intense, and it is race car intense.
It is intense. You got to get used to it and tell people, if it's making you feel ill, tell the driver, please make more gentle movements.
They'll be like, sure.
They will.
We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out on all our social media outlets and give us a like or a follow or subscribe. We appreciate that. It's always helpful. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.